Hello, it's Jeannie Schmidt here, and it is great to be here with y'all. Our topic today is God's will, in or out. It's a message for women who want to know whether they're in God's will without having to question yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I want to talk about are the signs that you may not be in God's will. One of those is if you feel anxious, if you've been thinking about a situation or maybe questioning God about how to handle a certain situation or how He wants you to lead something in your life and you're feeling anxious about it. Anxious is not of God. Philippians 4:6 says, be anxious for nothing, and that means nothing. So if there's anxiety there, then it's possible, very possible, that you are not in God's will for that. Another one that for me I've experienced since I was a teenager and gave my life to God is that I would get these little red flags, and they aren't real red flags, but they're the red flags in my mind, and they would pop up. And inevitably, every time that I was getting those red flags, those little bitty red flags in my mind, I was not in God's will, and that's not what He wanted. And for the most part, all of those things where I didn't pay attention to those little red flags ended up not being such a great situation. The next one is no peace. That's a little bit different from the anxiety and being anxious. When we don't have peace, it's just as if our whole lives are unsettled, that we don't know really what's going on. We can't rest. We are nervous. There are just a lot of challenges. And if that's the situation with what you're looking to God for, you may not be in God's will. And so you might want to consider each of those things. The next thing that I want to talk about are the steps that you are or may be in God's will. If you spend time with Him and you seek His guidance, you make time to listen to Him, you get into the Word, you actually spend some time in the Word in the mornings, maybe contemplating it, studying it out, maybe doing your own Bible studies, those are good indicators that you're seeking God and you're probably going to hear from Him. You might have even prayed and fasted. Those are good things too. Prayer is awesome, but when you're really struggling, a good fast for a day or two might be a good thing for you. The beauty is that when you are in God's will, you will feel that peace that passes understanding. And I've experienced that several times, and it is just one of the most beautiful feelings that you can have. And it's not just a feeling, it's a promise of God that He will bring you that peace that passes understanding, that says that you are in His will, and that's great. So the next thing is what do you do if you're still unsure? I want you to seek wise counsel. This is one of the things I'll repeat day in and day out every time we talk, that you seek wise counsel from someone that you trust, that's a believer, that has a strong faith background, that knows you, that you can lean into and just talk, and you know that they're going to speak the truth in love, so that they're helping you to be the person that you're meant to be and following God's plans for your life. Another thing to do is to set aside time to get away from the noise of life and get with God. Because sometimes just even being in these beautiful places up here, it's where I work, it's where I live. Sometimes I have to get away and just go find those places and really spend some concentrated time. I talk to Him and then I listen and see if I hear anything. The last point here is to wait. You know what? Maybe God's not telling you no. Maybe He's not telling you yes. Maybe He's saying wait. Maybe it's not the right timing. And if you operated in whatever it is that you're questioning or asking God for direction on, and you don't do it in the right timing, it's not going to be the best it can be. And that's what He wants for your life. And that's what I want for your life. So here are a few points to remember. The key is to get with God. It's always going to be the first key that I talk about. If you haven't, then you need to stop and do it. Talk to Him. Talk to Him verbally. Talk to Him in writing. Talk to Him in singing. Talk to Him in your praise. Do all of those kinds of things. And when you do those kinds of things, then what's going to happen is you're going to get a greater peace and a greater understanding of what He wants. And then the key is to listen. Stop. This is one of the hardest things for many people to do, is stop, make time, and be in a quiet space so that you can experience listening to God and hearing from Him. And don't rush it. When you're in those situations, don't rush it. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Take the time. And then again, seek wise counsel. That's super important. So the main idea here is that you can know if you're in God's will without having to question yourself. So just follow these few points, and I hope that they are a blessing to you and they are helpful. And if you're ready to make this work for you in a new way, I'd encourage you to go over to my website, jeannieschmidt.com/ebook, to grab a free copy of my new ebook, Exploring Divine Drift. It'll help you as you go through your journey to be able to take those tips that are inside of there and apply them to your life. I thank you for being on and for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon.